Ladies and gentlemen, this is NFL Week 9. Now, moving on to the spreads. First order of business, we're on Pato. Refresh, let you know they're fresh. This is as of Thursday at 6:45 in the morning. First order of business, how did Week 8 go? Week 8 on the screen, you will see what we picked for the spreads. We went 9-7, so slightly above 500. We'll take it, no complaints. We did have the Bears, which was a Hail Mary away from hitting, but we don't care too much about the spread record. That's 9-7. The bigger thing is our bets went 2-3. Now on the screen, you will see those bet slips. On the right, you'll see the Minnesota money line we had, and then on the left is essentially just 4 different running backs. We had a ton of there. We just ladder bet their rushing yard props, expecting all of their teams to be up comfortably and them to be running out the clock. Joe Mixon and Breece Hall hit. Javonte Williams and Derrick Henry did not. 2-3 is not great. It's really not that bad, but I think being transparent, there was some emotional hedging with some fantasy matchups, and I think I just wanted to throw money on it because the bet I had for the week was on Thursday night, and I wanted something to root for Sunday. So we will be better and improve. Based off the ones I commented, I only commented 2 legs or 2 props to each player. That's why I'm just going to count Breece Hall and Mixon, even though some more of theirs hit for Mixon. We're just going to call it 2-2. So that brings now on the screen our overall record for spread picks is 60, 59-3, finally above 500. But like I said, we want to get that to like 55, 60%. And then our bets now drop down to 11-8, which isn't awful, decent percentage, but we want that to be like 65, 70% or more. So we're going to keep grinding it out, but we've been looking pretty good the last couple of weeks in terms of the spreads. And this was our first kind of miss with the bets in a while. So back to it. I'll refresh it again. So we lock in. First game of the week, we have the Houston Texans against the Jets. Kind of a head scratcher. Jets are 2-6, Texans are 6-2. Yet they're the underdog, but obviously with context, you look at it and you're like, Nico Collins is out, Stephon Diggs is out, and honestly, CJ Stroud and them haven't looked good already with those pieces, or at least with Diggs. But the Jets have been like the most underwhelming team this entire season. Long story short, I'm back in the Jets. My main reason being is I think they just have more room to grow. Like, the Texans are just capped. Their ceiling is capped with those people hurt, where the Jets, like, their defense has been really underwhelming compared to their past. I think that can vastly improve. Devontae's only going to get more comfortable with the offense every week. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall have looked good. Like, that hasn't changed. And I don't know if it's a more encouraging or, I guess, scary stat, but there was some stat I saw on Twitter, like, this is the first time a team outgained their opponents in terms of yards, didn't have any turnovers, and was leading at this point in the game and still lost. So, long story short, I think the Jets should have won. Everyone in the world says they suck right now, and that number reflects that. They're at home. They have a healthier team. Give me the Jets -2, but I'm probably avoiding this game. Cowboys-Falcons, like the Falcons, Cowboys are very, very bad against the run defense. Now they get Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson right after frickin' the third-string 49ers Isaac Guerrero running back ran all over them. Plus, Darnell Mooney and Drake London are looking like a good duo, so I'm taking the Falcons. Their defense has been a bit underwhelming, but we'll back them because Dallas has been pretty bad. Denver against the Broncos. I initially liked Denver when this first came out. Now that the Ravens lost to the Browns, I feel like they're going to bounce back. They traded for Deontay Johnson, which I don't think is like a huge deal, but definitely helps. I think he was super cheap. My thing is their pass defense needs to improve. I don't think they can win a Super Bowl like this. You've got Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton dropped a game-winning interception last week. They're just not playing well. They're good against the run, but not against pass. Bo Nix has been hot as of late, so I think they'll finally slow down when they're against an offensive juggernaut like the Ravens. We're back in the Ravens, but I want them to make another push for some defensive player before the trade deadline. Chargers-Browns. I do like the Browns. Nick Chubb is getting healthier every week. Cedric Tillman and Jameis look solid. But Jameis is going to be Jameis. He's the Black Brett Favre where he slings it, tutties, picks, everything. Like I said, he should have had another interception last week, but Kyle Hamilton dropped it. But the Chargers are pretty good on both sides of the ball. Their offensive line is incredibly good. I think what sets them apart is they're just better. I honestly think offensively and defensively. So I'm taking them. Their pass defense has allowed the third fewest receiving yards to wide receivers. So while Tillman's been good, like Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore are still kind of meh. And if Jameis throws a turnover, I like the Chargers' odds to cover. Raiders, Bengals. Bengals just got fucking embarrassed by the Eagles. I'm still backing them. I don't love it at 7.5. I feel like, 7, 6.5 is where I like it. But the Raiders are just depleted offensively. Bengals still have Jamar. Raiders have a bad defense. I think they need to honestly figure out their run game. Zach Moss isn't bad, but I think Chase Brown is just more electric and has some big playability. I do think T. Higgins will miss this week. He didn't practice yesterday, Wednesday, and it's his second soft tissue injury. So I don't think he plays, and that's why I think kind of gets their offense to be top 5, top 7 in the league. But I just still think I like their bounce back opportunity, and no matter what, Jamar is going to feast. Bills Dolphins, first time they played, Tua got hurt. It was at Miami. But even before Tua got hurt, the Bills were fucking squanching them. Now Keon Coleman's kind of developed more. They've added Amari Cooper. Dolphins get Tua back, but nothing's really changed. I'm taking the Bills. Patriots just shocked the Jets. Titans got squanched by the Lions. Patriots defense really hasn't been that good compared to years past, but I'm going to back them. I just think it should only be 3, so to get that half point. Drake May should elevate them. He left last game early. I think with a healthy him, healthy Ramondre, they should improve. And the Titans' defense hasn't been as good as I expected. So give me the Patriots. Saints-Panthers, 7.5. Once again, a tricky number. I think we are going the Saints, though, because Derek Carr is back. You got Olave. You got Taysom Hill back. Kamara, that's a good enough team to put up points, and the Panthers' defense is so fucking bad. Now Bryce Young starting. It's a tough number, but the Broncos covered 9 against them or whatever. So, or that was against the Saints, but we're back in the Saints. I'll have to look at the props when they come out. Pato never has them until the week of. As you can see, it's all game stuff. But I'll probably be looking into some Alvin Kamara props, just because the Panthers' defense is really bad. Commanders-Giants, one big thing that people don't realize, Tyrone Tracy's in concussion protocol and not tracking to play. Devin Singletary is still good, but Tyrone Tracy has looked electric this year and been honestly a huge spark for the Giants. So I like the Commanders. I mean, Jaden Daniels gets another week to get healthier. And honestly, the best thing about the Giants' defense is their sacks with Dexter Lawrence. Jaden can run. I think that kind of nullifies that. Yeah, and I think the Giants are a worse defense than Chicago. So give me Commanders minus 3.5. Bears-Cardinals, a little bit of a head-scratcher. I think the Bears looked really bad offensively against the Commanders, who have been a pretty generous defense this year. They've been better in the past couple weeks, but I'm going to go Cardinals, just more proven. Kyler, Marvin McBride, Connor seem to kind of be clicking now a little bit more consistently. I do question it against a good defense like the Bears, but if I got to pick a team, we'll go the Cardinals. Jacksonville is really bad. Brian Thomas Jr., Kirk's out for the year, at least for the foreseeable future with a collarbone injury. Brian Thomas Jr. is a maybe. Eagles put up 32, 42 last week. 37, and I view their defense in similar light. I'm back in the Eagles pretty confidently. Lions-Packers. Jordan Love did not practice Wednesday. He's optimistic he's going to play. The Packers are known for being pretty cautious with injuries. They're saying it's a groin injury. I feel if it was just the groin, he'd play. But considering he had that MCL injury earlier in the year and they have a bye week next week, I kind of feel like they might want to rest him. But honestly, I feel like with the bye week, then they might say, hey, if something tweaks or something, we just tell him to let us know right away. We pull him and he gets more time to heal. I honestly think he's going to play. It's just too big of a game. I don't know exactly, but I think if we win, we'd be tied for the NFC North first place. Don't quote me on that. Regardless, I'm assuming Jordan Love plays. Even if he does, I like the Lions -3. They're putting up like 30, 40 a game. Jordan Love's turnover prone. Brian Branch has been getting some picks, and our run defense has never been that good. Now you get Monty and Jahmyr Gibbs. I like it -3, and especially if like Love's ruled out. As much as I like Malik Willis and he's played good, I don't think he'll be able to keep up to them. Give me the Lions -3. Rams, Seahawks, Metcalf. Didn't practice Wednesday, but I guess people are optimistic that he's going to play. I'm going to assume he does based off Metcalf's history. And to be honest, then I'm kind of surprised by the line. I feel like they're pretty similar teams. Bad defense, good offense, and Seahawks are at home. Honestly, I feel like they would be -2, -1.5. So I'm pretty high on the Seahawks. I think people are just looking at the Rams. They just beat a really good Vikings team in prime time. Puka, Kupp are back. I think it's going to be a pretty big offensive game as this over-under shows, but give me the Seahawks +1.5. Potential bet, but give me them 1.5. Colts, Vikings. Joe Flacco is starting. I honestly think that helps them short term, but is stupid long term. It depends how they do it. I think if they have Flacco for if they communicate to Richardson, hey, we're going to have you sit and learn from him for X amount of games, that's fair. You don't want to fuck up his confidence, but nonetheless, I think it helps them. Nonetheless, I think the Vikings have a bounce back. Colts don't have a good defense, and the Vikings should have TJ Hawkinson back. Aaron Jones has been looking good, etc., etc. Give me the Vikings. And then Buccaneers, Chiefs. Real bummer with Godwin and Evans being hurt, because I think this would have been a really entertaining Monday night game prior. Now, I mean, Baker still put up numbers with fucking Cade Otton and Jalen McMillan. But against the Chiefs defense, I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't really like 8.5's a lot to cover. But I really just don't see the Buccaneers doing much to the Chiefs defense. And then the Buccaneers defense is really bad. Whereas the Chiefs now have another week of D-Hop. Kelsey finally got his touchdown. I'm trying to see how many underdogs I picked, because I usually don't pick a lot of underdogs. I'm still going to go. Chiefs are pretty notorious for not covering and just winning by a touchdown like they did last week instead of 10. I think they'll get it this week. I think their offense clicks a bit more. We'll go Chiefs. So, to round it up from the top, we're going Jets, Falcons, Ravens, Chargers, Bengals, Bills, Patriots, Saints, Commanders, Cardinals, Eagles, Lions, Seahawks, Vikings, Chiefs. I don't have any bet place now, but first looks, and like I said, I'll comment. I don't want to force myself to, but if there is a bet I like, I'll comment it. My goal is always 24 hours beforehand, maybe 12 hours if it's a Thursday night game or something, so that you guys can get it ahead of time. I like the Falcons a good bit. I kind of like the Bills. 6 is a bit much, but for sure I like the Falcons. I kind of like the Lions because, like I said, I think they should be -3. And then if Love is ruled out, I feel it goes -4.5, -5.5. I think he does play, but I like the Lions. As much as I'm a Packers fan and I hate to go against them, they just are putting up 30, 40 a game. And Love is going to be, no matter what, somewhat a hit away from being not 100%. So I kind of like the Lions. And I really like the Seahawks. The Rams, the thing that concerns me is, one, I want to see Metcalf for sure being there. And two, the Rams defense has been better in the past couple weeks when it used to be bottom 5. But I mean, they're very similar teams, a good passing offense and a good run offense. I think Rams maybe have more receiving weapons with both of them being healthy now. And maybe the Seahawks have a slightly better defense. And then they're at home. To me, it's enough to go to -2.5. So I like the Seahawks, but I want to make sure Metcalf is ruled in because I feel he's the main juice of their engine offensively. So yeah, we'll see. But right now, I like Falcons. Kind of like the Lions. Maybe that's an emotional hedge, and I might do a little bit with the Seahawks. So we'll see. But that's week 9 plays. We'll see how it goes. I will be commenting any bets. Best of luck in your bets, fantasy matchups, etc.